Oh, thanks for being here. We are going to start recording. So go ahead and take any position you'd like on your mat. And this is just going to be very beneficial because we're working through all the chakras. We're working up to the sixth one. There's only one more, which is the seventh on the front of your head. And this just kind of helps maybe regulate those, if you can feel some of those areas in your body of those chakras from the first up to the sixth. Once you're there, take a nice deep inhale. And let it go. Allow yourself to come into the space, onto your mat, and into your body. Connecting with your surroundings, the sounds, the smells, any other energies in the room. So allow yourself to become more present, more in your body each passing moment. Take a full inhale here. Let it go. Getting over that body today, just acknowledging those areas of tightness or concern, any fatigue, any injuries. Just be mindful as we move today. We will be going into the sixth chakra, which is Ajna. It is a purple color. It's located right at your third eye at the forehead, right in the middle of the forehead. It's a purple or indigo color. This element is light. Gives you insight, purpose, wisdom. The sound associated with that is Om. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. You can check in mentally, emotionally. Acknowledging those thoughts, those places where your mind gets drawn away to, any emotions that start to come up. And as they come up and distract you, give them a little validation. Just give them a little loving kindness. And allowing them to leave and bring yourself back to your body, back to the sensations in the body. But always acknowledging what comes. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Just trying to settle in on an intention for the practice today. With the sixth chakra, the insight, purpose, wisdom, an intention maybe to see the light. Or maybe you have the right to see. Or embrace your intuition. Maybe today it's just to be the light. We're going to set that intention as we go through all of the chakras. We're going to chant with them one by one, going for at least 30 seconds or so for each of those intentions. I will chant out loud. You're more than welcome to join me in that out loud. Or you can say it inside your head, or maybe even just listen to what is happening. So taking maybe one hand or both hands down to that root chakra, just down toward your low belly, that color of red, imagining that. That sound is Lam. Take an inhale. Lam, 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 lam. Inhale. Let it go. Slide your hand up back to that Svadhisthana, that orange, that sacral chakra, that color of orange. That sound is Vam, the V. Taking an inhale here. Vam, 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 vam. Let it go. Moving that hand up to that solar plexus, that yellow color, that Manipura chakra. Bright yellow there, just above the belly button. And that sound with that one is Ram with an R. Take a full inhale here. Ram, 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 ram. Let it go. Moving those hands up to that heart chakra. Right above that anahata, that green color permeating out from that heart. And the sound with this is yam with a Y. Taking a full inhale. Yam, 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 yam. Yum, 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 yum. Inhale. Let go. Moving those hands up to your throat chakra, which there at the base of your throat. The Visuddha, that blue color permeating from this area. And the sound with this is hum. Nice full inhale. Hum, 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 hum. Inhale. Let it go. And then cupping those hands over your third eye, not really pressing the hands into it, just cupping those hands over that third eye. Again, the color is purple here, indigo. And this third eye chakra, this Ajna, the sound of that is Om. Really accentuating, kind of feeling that O starting way down in the belly, the ooh coming up through the heart, and that final M of it is radiating right there at that third eye chakra. We'll go nice and slow. We'll do an Om for 5 times here. Exhale fully. Inhale. As you exhale, release the hands, let the shoulders relax. Let all of that vibration settle in. Full inhale here. Let it go. Slowly bring some movement back into the body. And we'll mindfully make our way up onto our hands and knees and come into the ankle toe stretch. We're starting with that first stretch. We know it well. With the ankle toe stretch, your toes are going to be tucked under to start. You're going to sit back on your heels or maybe sit back on the block. If it's still too much, maybe lean forward. So again, we're just going to be here for 30 seconds for each round. So slowly start to make yourself here. We'll do 3 rounds of this. And start to notice those sensations in the body. Notice any residual effects from the chanting. This ankle toe stretch really gets all of the meridians in the body. Definitely starts there with that Muladhara, that root chakra. And slowly transition, pointing the toes back, sitting back on those heels if it feels okay. If it's not okay to sit on your heels, sit on a block between your heels. And you can keep that nice, steady, even breathing. Noticing any sensations in the body. And then transitioning once again to those toes tucked. And so this 6th chakra, this Ajna, it is right there in the center of your forehead. It is a 2-petal lotus with an inverted triangle inside. So that inverted triangle points down to all the chakras down below. Transition once again, pointing those toes back. And when you are in balance, when this 3rd eye chakra is in balance, you have this visualization. You're able to visualize things better. You're able to say something, or you read a book, you hear a song, you're able to visualize what those words are. Your whole chakra system is steady. Transition again to tuck toes, last round of this one. You have a steadiness about you. Your eyes, your forehead, your head feels good. You have good focus. You have insight to the world around you. You're able to help guide other people. You're able to have a stillness about you. Your mind is still and steady. Last time, pointing those toes. Some imbalances when this 3rd eye chakra is out of balance. Maybe some vision issues, headaches, sinus, misconceptions, misperceptions. Not seeing situations very clearly because you're clouded judgment, clouded with emotions. You have cynicism. Slowly transition out of that. Shift your hips to one side. And allow yourself to just sit with those legs out. Just kind of notice the sensation in those legs. There's a sensation from the knees to the ankles to the toes. Slowly start to bring some movement into those legs. And from here, we're going to slowly go into a pose. I think we've done it maybe one other class. It's called dangle. So maybe have your blocks handy so that you can reach them. But you're going to slowly stand up. You're going to take yourself all the way to your feet. I like to have my blocks here just so I can kind of dangle my arms on them or my hands. But your feet are going to be whatever's comfortable for your hips apart. You're going to bend into those knees ever so slightly. And then just allow yourself to round forward. Right? Maybe you have the blocks to where your blocks can stack and maybe your forehead just kind of dangles on top of that block, pressing that forehead. into the block. Allow yourself just to dangle forward. Arms hang heavy, shoulders hang heavy. And if for any reason this isn't comfortable, you can go into Chakra, which is basically the same position for your seat. And see with each exhale, if you can let those shoulders and arms grow heavier. And reversing that blood flow, allowing those chakras to intermix here, dangling down toward that forehead, toward that sixth chakra. Just noticing those sensations in the body. Notice where you might be gripping or holding tension, and as you exhale, you allow yourself to. Allow yourself to be very mindful of your breath, mindful of the sensations, just trying to be here in the present. Notice what sensations come up. Notice what thoughts come up. Again, acknowledge them, maybe give them some loving kindness. And allow yourself to bring your attention back to the sensations of that. One more minute. Letting yourself just surrender. And let it go. So you have the option here, bend into those knees. You can either go all the way up, or what I like to do is I just like to transition right down to the ground, bend those knees, and come right into child's pose. It's going to feel better for you to lift your chest. And sometimes it just feels good to keep that heaviness gravitating right down toward the toes. And then see if you can get your forehead to rest on something today for a child's pose. This is going to be our next pose. So if you're already there, awesome. If you need props under your hips or under your ankles, allow that to happen. But then see if you can rest that forehead once again on something. Really stimulating that third eye. Notice what insights come. Notice what light occurs. And the arms can be extended or bent. They can even be back by your feet. So that is best going to let you just surrender into this pose. Remember, there's no gripping in yin yoga. There's no muscle engagement. You're just letting things relax, muscles relax, allowing yourself to get into those softer tissues, get into that energetic body. You can find yourself breathing evenly, your inhales and exhales. It's nice and smooth. They don't need to be forced or counted. Just having a nice little steadiness about them. be here for another 2 minutes in this pose. If ever a pose does not feel good, or you feel like you're balanced with that pose and you no longer need it, you can always come up to seated. And just sit and notice the sensations in the body. Notice that after effect, that loop. Just allowing that body to settle into stillness, into that awareness of breathing in and breathing out. The sensations that occur with each breath. Taking a full inhale. And let it go. If your arms are reached out, slide them back toward your shoulders. Press into those hands and slowly press yourself up. All the way up to those hands and knees for a moment. And then from here, you can just transition all the way down onto the floor. Our next pose will be on our belly. So you can take that moment, laying down, relaxing the head, turning the head to one side, relaxing the arms. Notice those sensations in the body. Your head is turned one way, turn it the opposite way. Take a few more breaths there. Maybe even bend into those knees, do a little wiper from side to side. Letting that last pose go. And from here, we're going to move into Sphinx pose. So with Sphinx pose, elbows will come underneath the shoulders. And this is where I like to have that like a little extra padding. I usually like have my blanket right underneath my sternum. So I feel a little bit more support there. My legs are going to be relaxed. So it's not like that active pushing. They're going to be relaxed, maybe even widen the legs a little bit. And then hands can kind of just be where they're comfortable, kind of let your shoulders relax. And then again, getting into that third eye chakra, let that forehead just kind of drop down. Maybe it rests on a block, maybe on your hands. Just allowing yourself to come forward a little bit. So we're finding some sensation in the neck, in the mid to low back, the hips, the shoulders. But it's still visualizing that nice purple color. It starts to take over from the head. Connecting with all those other chakras. There will be an option in the last minute of this pose to go into seal for a little bit extra sensation in the upper back, shoulders, and low back, if it feels good for you today. A couple deep breaths and just kind of let go of where you might be holding any muscle tension, any muscle energy. Allow yourself to sink into this pose rather than hold it active like you would in your flow practice. Just notice the sensations in the body as you breathe smoothly. Breathing in, noticing you're breathing in. And breathing out, noticing you're breathing out. Breath is the present moment. You have 1 more minute, so if you are interested in a little bit more of seal pose, press into those hands, roll the shoulders back slightly, and then lift that. There's a little bit of engagement, but then you're going to kind of just let the shoulders relax. Your arms are holding yourself up. The head can stay lifted, or maybe it drops down. And be mindful of the low back if this doesn't feel like a place where you can breathe for another 40 seconds. And just go back to seal pose, or try to sink. Nice full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly bend into those elbows if they're straight. And then allow yourself to come all the way down onto your belly again. If it feels better for you to go onto your back, roll onto your back. If that's going to feel better for your low back. And then turn your head to one side if you're on your belly, or maybe rest your forehead on your hands. Again, whatever's going to feel best in your body right now. Just having a little time to notice the sensations that that pose caused in the body. Notice how your intention works with this pose, or that ending of this pose. And then mindfully, when you're ready, pressing yourself back up to your hands and knees. Maybe doing a little cat pose, just to take that spine in the other direction for a moment. Then from here, we're going to go back into child's pose. We're going to do it a little bit differently. So our toes are going to be tops. If that's going to be too much for your toes when you sit back, a block can go between. That blanket can go underneath your ankles, so it gives your ankles a little bit more support. But I want you to try, if you can, if it feels okay, bring your knees more closer together. So it says it's knees wide, bring them closer together, toes are tucked, and then sitting back. Bring that block forward so your forehead can drop onto the block. And then bring your arms back toward your feet. So again, if it's too much for the toes or the ankles, give yourself some support with a block so there's less pressure on those toes. And then just let yourself round forward. And if you have a little bit more range of motion in your body, even with your knees together to bring that forehead all the way to the ground, maybe that's it. But the block's a nice place to start. And then again, just notice the body breathing. Let those shoulders round forward. Kind of notice maybe a little bit more openness in that upper back. Kind of counterbalancing what we did in snake pose. And now expanding those meridians on the back side as we compress those on the front side. Still stimulating and engaging into that Ajna chakra. Our forehead resting good to the block of the floor. Just noticing those sensations that come up in the body. Allowing yourself to sit in that stillness. Sit with that slight discomfort. Just allowing yourself to be present with your breath. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slide those hands forward. Press into those hands. Press yourself up to your hands and knees. Point the toes and then have a seat. Bring those feet forward. Just let that release. Just going to notice those sensations happening around those shoulders. Into the ankles. What is the sensation happening in the forehead? And slowly start to bring some movement back to those toes. You're so happy. And then from here, we're going to go into butterfly, but we're going to kind of use a little toe break. So you have options. It's not for very long. So you have two options. You can take your hands and leave them in your toes and then give them like a little squeeze, giving your toes a little hard. Or if you have a little bit more range of motion with your toes, you're going to take your toes and you're going to braid them inside one another. Pinky toe and braid them. Fun part, I know. It depends on your toes. I have long toes, and you're going to braid them like so. And basically, what this is, all the meridians start or end in your toes. So this is basically stimulating all of those meridians, whether it's fingers or toes. Those that have braided your toes, I'm going to have you switch your toes around halfway through, and then just kind of let yourself lean forward. And again, if you want. That block can come, your forehead can rest on your feet, on your hands, whatever is best to you, or you just let your hands go. And notice the sensations happening in the body. And relax through the toes. So yeah, feel that stillness. Feel that stillness happen. Other areas where you might feel some sensation will be the knees or the hips. The low back of the spine, depending how far you're down. For those that have graded their toes, you'll unbraid them. Braid them the opposite way. You have your hands underneath, just keep your hands there. Taking a full inhale in. And let it go. Slowly rounding yourself up, let your head be the last thing to rise. And then unbraiding those toes. Bring those knees up. Just kind of rounding forward over those knees for a moment. Allowing the effects of the pose to take hold, to circulate. Bring that attention to your toes. And slowly extending the legs for a moment. Moving in any motions you need. So let that pose go. And from here, we'll make our way onto our backs. We're going to come into a twist of your choice. I'm going to be nice and easy today with just a nice little two-legged twist. But if you feel like you need maybe a little extra sensation in your outer hip, you can do one leg over the other. We're going to drop our knees to the left, or sorry, to the right first. Our left side will be on top first. So from here, I like to shift my hips to the left and then drop my knees over toward the right. So my left hip is on top. And then finding some openness, some expansion. Take a full inhale. And as you exhale, just let everything pass. There's no muscle engagement. Your knees and your ankles may not touch. You're finding the sensations on the top side of the body, feeling that openness. Feeling your breath nice and full. About one more minute here. Full inhale here. Let it go. Mindfully bring yourself back up to center. Keeping the knees bent, just pause there. Let the sensations of that pose move through the body. Notice its effects. And transition to the second side. Dropping those knees, we'll jump over to the left, with that right leg on top. And just notice any differences that may occur on this side. Notice if you need any more props underneath your shoulder, or between your knees or your legs. Just allow the body to surrender, to relax. Kind of stand from the toes up to the head. If you find you're holding any tension somewhere, see if you can direct your breath and your awareness to relax and let go. Especially when you make your way up to the neck, the jaw, the forehead. Cool. Let it go. Mindfully make your way back up to center. Taking your time, no rush. Once you're there, just pause, noticing those residual effects of the pose on the body, on the mind. Noticing those sensations on the left side and the right side. And from here, we'll come into our resting pose. So your shavasana might be on your back, it might be on your belly, it might even be seated today. Just kind of check in with what your body needs. Use any props, use anything to cover you if you feel cold. Find a place where you can be still for at least 4 minutes. So allowing yourself to really settle into that stillness, settle into the practice. Once you've found that position for yourself, maybe take a full inhale. As you exhale, bring that attention just for a few moments to that third eye once again. Matching that color of purple, that indigo, spreading throughout your head. Visualizing that color. Visualize that color linking up with the throat chakra, blue. Maybe those colors blending together as they meet. Seeing that blending of the blue color of the throat chakra moving toward the heart chakra, that color green. Noticing those colors of purple, blue, green. And seeing that blending from the heart chakra to that solar plexus, that yellow. Seeing those colors fill your body. Feel this fill that spinal column. And noticing that blending of that yellow, that solar plexus chakra, to the sacral chakra of orange, just below that belly button. And that blending, and then that bright orange shining throughout the abdomen. And seeing that blending of the orange into the red of that root chakra. Seeing that bright red light at the base of your your spine. Maybe permeating out through the legs. Visualizing these colors in your body, visualizing each of these chakras in your body. Feeling their energy. Allow yourself just to be here for a few more moments of silence, visualizing this with your breath. And finding that stillness. When you out of Shavasana, breathe out. Take rest. And as you allow that next breath to come a little deeper, bring your awareness back to those chakras. See all the colors. Seeing those colors draw back into their chakras. Seeing those little lights on the base of red, orange, yellow, green at the heart, blue at the throat, and then that bright purple, that indigo, that third eye, the forehead. In your next breath, start to bring some movements into the body as you hold on to that visualization. Those chakras still there, their light, their energy still with you. Now, your next breath, take any movements you need to allow yourself to come back to that physical body, still staying with that energetic body. And in your own time, take any movements you need to, pause where you need to, but mindfully make your way all the way up to seated. No rush, take as much time as you need. Noticing sensations as you move. Notice energy. Notice your breath. Once you found that comfortable seat, closing those eyes. Once again, just feeling the energy of those chakras. Maybe they feel balanced. Maybe you feel one more than the other. Just notice. As you leave tonight, taking that light of that Ajna chakra, that sixth chakra. Take the light, take any insight, any purpose, any wisdom that came from this life. Take it with you off your mat as you lead into your weekend. Allowing yourself to embrace your intuition anytime you need it. Seeing the light, allowing yourself to remind yourself of this beautiful chakra you have right there in your mind's eye. We'll seal the practice in with one Om or a sigh of the breath. But as we do this, we're going to take our hands and cup them over that third eye once again. Exhale fully in. Inhale. As you exhale, palms touch, coming down to your heart center. Allow the head to bow slightly. Offering up some gratitude for the others practicing with you tonight. Offering up gratitude for you taking time for yourself. And allow your lips to curl up into a smile as you raise your head. Thank you for being here. Namaste.